What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's Sunday Night Spotlight. Wow, do we have a special edition this afternoon? This evening could be the morning. I don't know where you are geographically, but whatever time you watch this, make sure you're paying attention. I've got a sweet crew riding with me and an even sweeter guest to announce as well. Man, have I been looking forward to this show all week. First and foremost, though, it is not a Tuesday, but get your twos up from out in the DMV. My good buddy Shotty, what's up?
It is I, man, the Tuesday night delight in the flesh. DMV stand up. Shad Talks Graps on Instagram. OckDMV703 on X. If you're not following me, you and I have a personal problem and we might have to run the fade. I don't know. I'm feeling a little frisky with that one, but let's get into it.
That's fair. Back shoulder fade, or are we just talking normal fade?
I'm kidding, man.
We'll get into football plays later.
I'm going Dirk Diggler, bro. I'm having my feet kicked out like Nowitzki.
Respect. Of course, though, up next, if you don't already know, I don't know what you've been doing, but there's a certain guy out in Louisville, Kentucky that we should do what, Driz?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. It ain't Tuesday, but we steadily putting them twos up. Why? Because we the twos.
Absolutely. Get the twos up, but most importantly, let's introduce our guest. All the way from the Shy, we got Missa Kate, the Windy City Queen. Let's go. What's up?
What's up? You guys are saying Tuesdays. So Jordan, my agent, he always does this thing. I still yet to know what it references, but he goes, Tuesdays, brother, Tuesdays. So every time he comes saying it, that's what's playing in my head. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, because I don't. But yeah.
Is that the sketch dude? The brother?
I think so. Yeah.
Like
this. So he just cracks up about it.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I'm doing great. What's going on?
That's all time, by the way. By the way, just for reference,
I thought she was doing the Arsenio Hall like that first.
She was, yeah.
Oh, to start, yeah, I was going that way, but then we're gonna be going on like a little bit of a roller coaster. It's okay though.
We're here for it.
It's gonna be a blast. By the way, Shad's only the Tuesday night delight because we do a Tuesday show every week. So, and it rhymed. I said it on an accident once, and I was like, "Ooh, that's good."
I'm gonna trademark it.
We make happy mistakes.
I was like, "I like that Tuesday night delight. That's fun. It rhymes."
There you go. Merch.
And then we ended up on Sunday Night Spotlight. Today's show.
I'm also AJ Francis's doppelganger, Jacob Fatu, as the people in the YouTube like to call me, although I don't have hair like him.
No, I co-hosted an entire show with you where the audience asked if you were Jacob Fatu at the first half. And then there was one guy that just continually asked questions as if you were Jacob Fatu, which was one of my favorite moments in show history.
They just insert Smo in here.
Oh, yeah, I went with it. I was like, let's ask Jacob.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
I was like, yeah, let's ask him.
Who am I not to clout chase a WWE superstar now, right? I'm a Samoan, right? I'm not really from Samoa. I'm from Samoa. Right?
It's just, yeah. Okay.
That's crazy. This is about you. Let's get into the interview.
We got questions for Missa Kate. I swear, we'll get there eventually.
I'm having a great time watching you guys, so please keep going. I love it.
We'll do our own thing eventually, but Missa, it's been amazing to get you on this show already. Like, to have you here today is so huge. In my eyes, you're the hottest free agent in all of pro wrestling.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's right. If you look at that list, it's long, but the top isn't necessarily. And I feel like you're at it. I got to ask you, though, as far as your next steps are concerned, you've built such an incredible resume. What do you feel like might be the next logical move?
Good question. Honestly, I don't know. but no, there's like just so much to experience. When I was contracted, I had to pass up some offers, such as, possibly learning and training and wrestling in Japan, and same thing in Mexico. I had a couple offers to possibly have shows overseas, but then they conflicted with NWA dates, so I wasn't able to do them. So, or even like Canada, same thing. So I think where I am right now is, I don't want to say make up for lost time, because there's no time lost. But I definitely want to see if I can now grind and just as quickly as I can in a mature fashion to try to do the things I wasn't able to do. So then that way, when I am signing my next contract, I can say like, hey, I did cool stuff and I got some stuff out of my system that I felt like I missed out on, but I didn't miss out on it because I was able to go back and do it. So I guess that's where I'm at. That's my next logical step, is to do what I wasn't able to a little bit.
I think that's absolutely incredible. And like the level of patience too in that answer too, not to like recklessly speculate on that, but that's brilliant. You're exactly right. Like, right. You're in a position that's completely different than you were 6 months ago, a year ago, but you earned it too. And that, right. And I love the way you broke that down. I know, Shotty, you have a question as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, and like I like that answer a lot, because I think that is the beauty of professional wrestling now, especially now where like there's so many different avenues and so many like independent promotions, even like the pseudo forbidden door, prohibited portal, whatever they want to call it. Like you can pop up and show up and everything, and obviously you were previously with NWA. Can you speak about like your time over there? What are some things that you appreciated in regards of being on NWA, learning, getting opportunities, wrestling on live television, and working with a lot of talented people? What are some things that you feel like you learned that made you a better wrestler with your time over there?
Yeah, overall there's so many different things I can touch on. I always like to start with the people that I've met, of course, because that's how you learn. Is you pick the brains of others, and just constantly asking questions, asking for feedback, and then those people get to a point where they're willingly like, hey, giving you ideas, and you build that kind of relationship. That was really cool to me. And it's especially when it's people that you look up to or have been in this for a long time, or like you just admire something about them. So now that you are working with them, it's a whole different level of, oh, this is really cool. So there's that. Working with NWA, I learned how to work TV. That's something that a lot of people on the indies aren't taught. Luckily, where I was trained, or like the places that I trained at, there was always somebody around that had some kind of like TV knowledge. So they'd be like, all right, always act like this way, it's hard cam. Or so I don't want to say I knew, because I didn't, because again, it's different when you're actually doing it. But that definitely helped a little bit, that I had slightly a little bit of experience. A big thing for me was TV and working the cameras, because I'm a jock, and I was trained in any sport that I played, to especially soccer. Like I think Ronda Rousey even says it. You want to hide your eyes, so you just kind of like, they see your eyebrows, so that way they can't see your next move and stuff like that. So I was always keeping my head down, and it's like, well, this is entertainment. You need to broadcast yourself a little bit. And I was just like, but I want to hide. So yeah, that was another thing, just working cameras and trying to find a balance to not only work the crowd, but work the cameras. So, and again, that's like those are very small things that I've learned working with NWA, but yeah, I think those are the biggest takeaways.
Absolutely. And production, obviously, we all know it's an art, right? On top of that, and your role in that, it has to be difficult. I know Drizzy's got another question, but that's amazing the way that you broke that down for us there.
In everything you've done in wrestling, what has been the hardest thing you've actually had to learn?
Ooh, I think, honestly, believe it or not, well, are you asking like in ring, out of ring, all of the above? Like, where we at?
I'll say all the above because it's more than just in
no
ring.
Pressure. All right, no pressure at all. So, in ring, we'll say, honestly, probably bumping. That was the hardest thing to learn because you're literally teaching your body to go against its natural instincts, which is to, hey, purposely fall back, not protect, like towards the back of your skull. So that was something that took me longer than I thought it was going to, but I also found out that that's normal because, again, especially when you're an athlete and stuff like that, you're very much taught, like, don't be on your back, always keep yourself forward. So that was a little bit of a struggle. As far as like, I guess keeping my head up, like I was saying, is another thing for TV work. Something that people don't prepare you for is actually like there's I didn't realize how much there's some politics, but just such a social environment that wrestling is, which is, again, I've been very blessed that most most environments have been really cool and fun, and I've been blessed to be around a bunch of fun people. I have experienced those environments that are now considered like old school, but they've kind of been wiped away because of different movements and all that fun stuff. But they were very hostile environments that I was in that you're like, oh, why is this supposed to be fun? Like, why are you guys being this way? So I guess just kind of learning that part of it and like the business side overall. I love to say, like, I'm a wrestling fan, so I came in here for a long time just like, oh my God, I'm wrestling. This is so cool. This is so fun. And I wasn't paying attention. Like, no, this is still a business. So having to switch my brain to be like, all right, we can still have fun, still, kick ass in the ring, but don't forget that this is a business first and foremost. So, yeah. That answer your question?
Yes.
No.
I have very long-winded answers.
Perfectly.
So
Nah, you good.
No,
that's
I actually, I thought that was incredible, and I wanted to ask because as an ex-athlete, right, and we're UK based, so I'm gonna say soccer. Sorry, you got the American crew. Everybody else, I did at WR. Once you hear this, I'm not calling it football. That's a different sport. But sorry, that was a cheap shot. That's my fault. Anyway, let me finish the question. But coming from athletics, coming from sports, and all of that, inserting yourself into that situation, I love the way you broke that down, discussing putting your head down on the field and even in a locker room when it comes to team sports, right? And you just mentioned navigating the politics of a locker room backstage. Do you feel like that was like a big advantage? I've asked this question to a number of athletes because I think, in my own eyes, wrestling is the perfect combination of entertainment and sports in a way. And you have to have both skills. And that's the brilliance, right? We've talked now about, entertaining the crowd and whatnot. But did you feel like that was an advantage for you in relation to the rest of the crew when it comes to you entering wrestling?
As you're saying, as far as like the politics, or just saying just going into wrestling,
just navigating it, just being a team sport athlete.
So, yes. So, yes and no, because wrestling, what I've learned is it's a love child of athletics and theater. I have never experienced theater, but from what I've heard from others that have, there's a lot of what happens behind the scenes in wrestling also happens behind the scenes in theater when it comes to politics and, just everyone intermingling, we'll say, and stuff like that. So being an athlete, like, yeah, like there are some politics, right? Of course, like oh, this person's kissing the coach's ass. Surprise, they're captain now. So I've experienced that. But at the end of the day, if you're an athlete, it's kind of like you're either good or you're not. So if you're good, they're going to put you on and you're going to do your job. And if you're not, then you're benched. So that was always my mentality in sports, was like, all right, well, I don't want my ass benched, so I'm going to get better. And when it came to wrestling, again, because a little bit of the politics, right? That's more the theater aspect. Like, yeah, you could be really great at wrestling, but I'm sure you guys know too, how many wrestlers do we know that are great, but they don't exactly have the best manners or, stuff like that. So they're not really welcome back in wrestling. So yeah, it's, that was an adjustment because, again, the mentality that I had going into it was a very athletic mindset, a jock mindset. So, it was a little, it had its advantages because in the sense of, I'm pretty strong-minded, I have thick skin, and playing sports. So you threw in soccer. I technically played soccer for 20 years, 20 and some change maybe. Because ever since I was little, my mom was like, the second you started learning how to walk, you were just sprinting. So she's like, I needed you to get in sports because I was not keeping up with you. Tried T-ball, that didn't work. Which the only T-ball team I ever played on was for the Cubs, by the way.
Let's go,
and then so then I fell in love with soccer because that was the next sport. And I played co-ed soccer for the first, until I was like 14, 15. So the first however many years of my life, it was a mixture of guys and girls. So big tomboy, obviously. So that helped me. And then after that, like everything was mainly women, but I was playing almost year round, either indoor soccer, which is really bad for your knees, but indoor soccer, or, playing on leagues in the summertime, like when it's like 5-on-5 or something like that. But yeah, because of that, the mindset that I had, and just, that was the point I was getting to. I lost it and then I found it. I'm very proud of myself right now. The point that I was getting at was because from playing sports, another issue that I had was I was really good at tuning out the crowd, because especially in Chicago, right? I was the only white girl on I played in Hispanic leagues and Latino leagues. So I don't know Spanish that well, but I do know when they're saying very not nice things to me, when they're saying gringa and all this stuff. But needless to say, yeah, I've gotten thick skin, and I know that was something that with wrestling, that was something else that I had to learn. It's like, no, you have to listen to the crowd. And I was pretty good at having blinders on, because I was like, you ain't gonna mess with me. So, but I guess it kind of works in wrestling too, right? Because you're going to get the hecklers, but now I just get to heckle back, because if I did that in sports, that was turning into a fist fight, where now it's like we're doing this for fun most of the time. Exactly. Unless I had like kids swing on me, which I've had little kids freaking swing on me. That's been funny.
That's iconic, by the way. As a guy whose mother speaks Spanish, I know all about the getting trash talk in Spanish. That's no fun. You know when it's bad, even if you don't know what was said.
Yeah.
100%. And when they're all like, kind of like everyone's teaming against you. And I was always usually one of the, so for those that don't know, I was more of like the enforcer. So how you have the enforcer in hockey, which is like the person who takes everybody out, right? Defense was my comfort zone. I love defense. I love slide tackling and taking bitches out. So, I was usually the bigger girl on the team, and a bunch of my teammates, again, were smaller. So I'm getting like double teamed, sometimes triple teamed by chicks. And I'm just like, man, I know so-and-so is crazy, so she could help, but I'm like, I still need to at least take two of you out for you to take out one. So it was just growing up was fun. I love sports.
Same. I'm with you. As a fellow Chicagan, Chicago sports is a special place to come up.
Dude, it's amazing. We are the heart of everything.
It is. It's true. Like, we're the second city in only one way, and it's not that one. It's not that one. 100%. Shot, I know you got more questions to ask. I'm sorry. We could talk Chicago all afternoon here.
I'm laughing because I where I'm from, there's a lot of El Salvadorian people that live around the area. So I grew up playing soccer in my youth. Very short career. I ain't played too long, but and I definitely can know when the bad words are coming out and whatnot, the curse words and stuff too. But so my question for you. So you brought something interesting to me that you mentioned. Obviously, you have an athletic background, and you said that it's a mix between theater and sports. I actually think you're very entertaining as a character, right? I think you
Thank
have
you.
yeah, no problem. And I think what I really like is the fact that that you play a heel persona. I've always rooted for the bad guys in movies and stuff like that. Where do you kind of get inspirations to the character of Missa Kate? Is it something that you feel is organically within yourself, or do you draw any inspirations from wrestlers or artists or movie characters or anything like that?
I have a lot of anger inside.
Okay.
We'll start with that. But no, so there's a mixture of that, but this is really therapy. It's a legal way for me to beat people up and not get arrested. That's really what I'm doing this for. And to one day get famous enough so I could be on all the cooking shows, so I could try, people cook stuff, and then I could be one of the judges. And I'm just gonna be like, everything's great because I just want to eat it. Anyway, that's my life goal. So I totally, oh my God, I just speak. I just like.
Nah, you good. I think that's I'm a big boy, so that's a life goal of mine too. So
yes. No, I got you. I'm back. Yes, I do pull from a bunch of different areas. So one of my favorite characters of all time is Joker. Joker and Harley Quinn, right? So watching them and seeing how you kind of have sympathy for them, even though you're like, damn, like, I like you, but I still wouldn't want to mess with you. That always intrigued me. So that mixed with, yes, my character is, I like to say, maybe my teenage self that didn't make the best life decisions, that didn't hang out with the best people sometimes, mixed with not just weird, like, not the best things that I did, but things that I've seen other people do that don't sit well with me, things that I find flawed in others. So it's really fun to try to mix everything. And yes, of course, like other characters I try to pull from as well. But it's really fun for me just like to mix all that stuff up, because you're never going to really know who I'm playing or if I'm being myself. So it's really fun for me to watch you guys try to figure it out. I will have people ask me, they're like, so did you do that growing up? And I'm just like, whatever you think. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Or no, it's just fun.
Hit him with a maybe.
Nah, I dig it. And a lot of it comes from like I saw a lot of your independent stuff as of late, right? Like I think you had a match with Kylie Ray, and like just coming out and interacting and playing that kind of heel type of character, and obviously the stuff that you've done on TV, it definitely is good. It's dope to see, and I think, to me, I always view it that in pro wrestling, and obviously I'm speaking as just a person who is a fan of it. I ain't doing what y'all do, but I think like being a great wrestler is kind of like half the fight, right? Where you also have to be a great character and be someone that, if you want to get to a big promotion like an AEW or a WWE or TNA, like you got to show that you can be a character. And I think you garner a lot of that, as well as being a very good in-ring wrestler as well.
Thank you. I love being dramatic.
Hey man, you see Chelsea Green, she's killing it in WWE with a lot of the drama.
I love Chelsea. I will say she's somebody, again, everything happens for a reason. she was at NWA for a short period of time, and I was able to pick her brain. And she is one of the nicest people. And even though she's a Karen at times, she likes her green M&Ms. But no, I will say she like is like a big sister of a locker room. I feel like she's always willing to help or be like, hey, we'll try to, I had one conversation with her once, and ever since, like, she was always just like, oh, what about this? You think about this? Or, stuff like that. She's great. She's fantastic. I'm so excited for her future in wrestling and just to see what she's going to do over there. Cause she's so fun to watch. She's so fun to watch.
100%. Okay. Yes. By the way, random side note, because WR is technically UK based, while you have the American crew today on this interview, I will say I learned this year in the UK, way before we were doing Karens, they were saying Helen. And ironically, I gotta admit, I've never met a Karen that was not a nice person, but I know one Helen that was totally a middle school bully. So it adds up. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know anybody named Helen. I ain't
kind of spot on. That's what I mean.
Outside of Helen Keller, I don't know any Helens.
I've known a couple Helens. My grandfather came from Macedonia, so Yugoslavia.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. So I've known maybe not like a couple Helens, but I can't think of the name. It's another common name. If you watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding, one of my favorite movies, everybody's named Nick.
All time.
But I might watch it tonight or like tomorrow or something. Have like a nice like little wine night. Maybe get like a little. Anyway, I'm not going to say that. Anyway, so continue.
Yes. No. Well, wait. Are you red or white wine? Now we have a follow-up question.
We're here now.
Red, 100%. I'm a cab guy. I mean, I don't discriminate. I like wine. I like my wines. I like a little bit of everything. I'm not a seltzer person. I don't like bubbles. I don't even drink like brown pop and like stuff. I don't know. It just like don't get me wrong. I can belch the ABCs, but like I don't. If I don't have
bloating.
to, I'm not.
It's the bloating at the end of the day where it's like you can avoid
exactly.
it. You're good.
It's like if I have to, I will. But like,
no, you'll dabble. By the way, Chi-Town legend. I knew it all along. I'm like, we hadn't even met. I knew it. Like, I'm like, she's from Chicago. Missa Kate is an absolute Hall of Famer. No doubt. Right. Early Hall of Famer. Driz, what's up?
I'm gonna give one last serious question because I want to get into some Chicago talk. If there was anything in wrestling that you could change, what would you change?
Ooh, I like it. I feel like we need to bring back Wrestler's Court.
Yes,
I feel like that.
Absolutely. I highly agree with that answer.
I love that.
I think there needs to be again, it could get dangerous, like given, but I'm like, you gotta look like Undertaker was judge, right? So I'm like, I think he's pretty fair. So as long as everyone agrees that the person in charge is fair and it has to be a veteran of actually like good status, no, I think we need it in wrestling. Like on the indies, you need it. Maybe like in companies, you need it. Just kind of keeps everybody accountable. So I feel like everyone's learning lessons and life stuff, but holds everybody accountable and keeps everybody in check a little bit more. And plus, if someone screws up, you just kind of get to make fun of them. And that's the part that I get excited about because I just want to see people do stupid shit because they're dumb.
Yes, 1,000%.
I mean, as a court TV like connoisseur, meaning like Judge Judy and Judge Mathis, court TV connoisseur. Them sick days when I was at home and my mom, when I was faking sick and watching this shit with my mom.
Yep.
Those are always the most entertaining shit to watch.
It was Jerry. It was
I've watched an embarrassing amount of Maury Povich.
You are not. That one,
Maury
yeah.
Yes.
Him, there's like Steve something or other.
Steve Wilkos.
Yeah, that guy, yeah. And then,
Jerry
like,
Springer's
of course, you have the Law and Orders. So, you're bringing me back.
And then down the road, if you really faked sick well enough, if you faked that sore throat, you'd right at the end of it, you could catch Montel Williams.
Oh,
that was at like 3:00.
You could catch Montel if you faked it well enough that it was like, yo, you're still in bed. Like, you could totally, as a sick kid, you could catch Montel. That was the last one. I have a
These kids don't know. They're never gonna understand. They're never gonna know.
Nobody will ever understand that.
I was watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off last week.
Sausage King of Chicago.
Classic. Yeah, true.
Abe Froman. That's what they called the Sausage King of Chicago in the show. That's not real. That's just a character.
I swear I'm from Chicago. I just don't know things.
No, I know. But Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he goes into the restaurant and then he's like, yeah, I'm Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago. They're like, we didn't expect you to be so young. And then he takes the reservation.
That made me go back. It made me go back and watch real quick. Like, hold on, wait a minute.
It's a made-up character, but it's perfect. I mean,
I haven't watched that movie in a while.
Ferris is good. If you've not seen Ferris recently,
good. I just haven't seen it in so long. I'm the worst when it comes to watching movies. I'll see bits and pieces, and I'm like notorious for falling asleep. So,
yeah.
By the way, fair.
Until I met my wife, I wasn't really watching a lot of movies. Like, we just watched The Quiet Place on like Wednesday.
I famously fell asleep during Contagion in college. We had to watch it at the theater as a college golf team. And we all went. It was more of like it was supposed to be a team bonding thing, and I dozed off. I think that was when I found out that I had a snoring issue. This is like 2012, but I'm just saying, like, it was like that's it, right. I wouldn't have got caught if it wasn't for those
meddling kids, those meddling kids, those golf kids.
Well, speaking of Chicago, let's play a game. All right.
Yes.
I want you to. I'm gonna give you some Chicago professional wrestlers, and you gotta blind rank them, right? So you won't know what direction they're going for. There is 5 of them at the moment. All right. And if anybody that's watching it, that's one of these wrestlers, we are gonna tag you. And if you're offended, you should definitely quote retweet it to get us more engagement. All right.
If you're offended, I don't give a. No, okay, go.
Let's go. Right. No, we're good. Let it fly.
We're gonna start with.
We won't clip it. We'll bleep it.
Very reputable, up and coming star, Sky Blue.
So I'm just supposed to give an opinion, or wait, what's
1 through 5?
You got to rank.
Blind rank 1 through 5.
Yeah. So your rank 1 is the best, 5 is the least. We're not gonna say the worst, but
we'll give you 2 switches at the end. That's only fair.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I'm gonna go 4 for right now, only because she's still, again, her and I are both finding ourselves. So she's established, but
you're like, I could whoop her ass too.
Yeah, well, her and I have beaten the shit out of each other so many times.
I know.
Yeah, she was
I did my research. And that's what I'm saying. You're like, wait a minute. Like, you led with Sky?
Okay.
We fought each other a couple times, in the ring, out of the ring. No, I'm just kidding. But she was like my we would call it my wrestling wife for a little bit. She was like my little sister for a bit. We like couldn't get away from each other. So it was fun. And then her and I were supposed to have a match, and then I had strep. So that made me sad because her and I haven't wrestled in over a year and some change. So we're looking for, like, we had a tag match against each other, but not a single. So we're looking forward to it. And then I had to get sick. But yeah, I'll go with 4 for right now. But because you said the switches, we'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah, you got 2.
Mustafa Ali.
Okay. I'll go 2.
2? Okay.
Because personally, I've trained with him a couple times, and he's always willing to give advice, and he is so knowledgeable in the way he thinks about things. And he's really he moves very well in the ring. So very talented.
Yeah, he is one of my favorite wrestlers, and I'm loving the work that he's doing in TNA now. So salute to him. Kylie Ray, Smiley Kylie.
Smiley Kylie. We'll go 3. Again, she's established. I've again been fortunate enough to train with her. We had matches together. We have a mutual trainer. Her first trainer was technically my second trainer, but I like to say my second trainer fixed a lot of my bad habits. So that helped that we knew we had similar backgrounds. So we already kind of had that comfortability going into matches and just working together, because we were like, all right, well, we know how we're trained. So we just kind of flow. So that's always fun. Wrestling her, especially because her and I can, I don't know. I like that her and I could just be dorky and have fun, but still somehow have a fun kick-ass match. So,
and it can still be a slugfest. That's kind of the key, right? Like you said the dorky thing, but like there's nothing dorky about hammering, right? Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day,
I will say she's starting to lay it. When she became a mom, man, she's laying them in more. I'm like, all right, there we go. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Get that mom strength. Get that mom strength.
Yeah, dude.
I'm a big Kylie fan. I'm a Pokemon fan, so the fact that she has like Pikachu gear and comes out to the Pokemon theme song on that shit is dope for me. That's the shit I like, right?
Sorry, who would you pick? So, like, did you ever play the DS Pokemon game?
Oh yeah. I was a big Silver was my was that DS?
Well,
for like like when you pick like
Charizard, Blastoise, and then which
gen you talking about? So you talking about the OG?
Yeah,
like
OG.
The original one?
The OG.
Who do you pick?
Man, I'm strategic. I would pick Bulbasaur.
Ooh.
I'd pick
Earth?
Bulbasaur.
We were fighting. I got my boy Charizard.
Yeah, but I feel like the evolution and stuff to it, like if you train it well enough, like when it gets to a Venusaur, it's good. I
was the Charizard guy too.
During the pandemic, we
literally
bought
Sagittarius. I like fire. Okay.
Hey, let it burn. I'm a Virgo, and so I shouldn't even be. But like, yeah, let it burn.
That's picking off of the game of I'm picking off of the strategy wise. My favorite growing up as a kid was always Squirtle. Like I was a big Squirtle squad guy. I'm a big Pokemon. Like I'm a battle rapper, so I use a lot of Pokemon references. There will be one next week at my battle. Shameless plug.
There you go.
Plug. Look at you.
But yeah,
go for it.
Look at us.
That's awesome. Okay, we got 2 more. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh,
so he's either 1 or 5.
He's from Chicago.
Yes.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Who would have thought? By the way, we were doing pre-show stuff, and I was like, "Well, you got to put Heenan in because
Because I'm gonna ask you a
factually
question.
Speaking, yes, he is.
Some people that are honorable mentions because we don't know if they're from Chicago or not. But
okay,
no, the rest
I'll
of the
let you
list,
know if they're not.
Heenan's confirmed.
Okay. Well, I mean, you gotta go one with Heenan, right? You gotta go one with Heenan.
Okay.
I feel that's disrespectful.
So you got 5, and that means 5 is look in my eyes. What do you see? The cult of personality. CM Punk is number 5.
Oh no, it can't be.
2 switches.
So you can make 2 switches.
Okay, can we just put? I'll make one switch.
Just shuffle the whole deck. What are we doing here?
We don't have how we got it. How we got it at the moment.
Put them in order how you want.
I need to squeeze Punk in between Heenan and Ali and just move everybody else down, and then we'll be good.
Okay. So we got Heenan 1, Punk 2, Ali 3, Kylie 4,
Sky,
and then Sky Blue 5.
Yeah.
In the interest of fairness,
that was how I would probably rate it too.
But of course, like if I was in, if I was in the poll, I would be number 1, obviously. So
well, yeah,
no. This is excluding you, of course. You're the logical one.
As long as it's clear, I just want to make sure we're clear.
That's the easy one. We know who's number 1.
Yeah, we know.
That's right. That's right.
What we actually meant to ask was, could you rank 2 through 6 wrestlers from Chicago?
See?
And then you're one. You're above one on the Chicago docket. You can't.
That's what we
I feel
meant in
like
the
you
first
can't
place.
check. You can't check into like Chicago wrestling without seeing you first. Like you're like the OG over there.
No,
Like
yeah,
you gotta give him the stamp. It's a no-fly zone over there. I mean,
This
it is
is
a no-fly zone in Chicago in most
No,
spots.
I'll tell Charizard to fire his ass down.
Yeah.
Here's the real
Nah.
question: is which airport's worse, Midway or O'Hare?
Midway.
I'm totally kidding. It's Midway by
Midway.
miles. It is. Thank you.
Midway. I will. Dude. Oh my god. So the first experience I ever had at Midway, we're going through this. I don't care. First experience I ever had at Midway. I was young. My mom and we took she took me for like a daughter mommy trip, whatever. And I don't remember where we went, but I remember we left out of Midway. We came back to O'Hare, I want to say. But anyway, going there, man, everything was horrible. We went to, we dropped off our car in the lot, and the shuttle that took us to the airport crashed into a taxi. And my mom's like, well, he's not getting his tip. So then we walked out. And then as we're walking there was a fight in the security line. Yep. And then we get through the security line. And now there's another fight or something going on. Not by our gate yet. And then finally, when we're sitting at our gate and it's like 15 minutes to board, another fight breaks out. And now this isn't just a fight. This is like freaking swarms of people are coming and grabbing. It was a thing. Yeah. And I was just like, I never want to come back here. And if anybody knows anything about Midway, Midway is a small fraction of what O'Hare is, meaning it is a small airport. It's not a big airport. So for all of this to be going on at Midway, it's unnecessary. It's so dramatic. It's freaking ridiculous. It
is the most dramatic airport. Like legitimately, I'm at the point in my life where I'm like an adult. I've got TSA pre-check. I paid for it. The whole nine.
Look at you. Okay.
Midway is brutal.
Yes.
Like, what? Like,
and they never have any flights. They never have any flights. I would always get into it with a couple of the guys from NWA that are from Chicago. And they'd always be like, Midway's better than O'Hare. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Just because it's like kind of closer to your house because you guys are White Sox fans and all this crap. Get out of here, dude.
Yes,
like, no, it's a Southside beef, huh?
Take that,
Kraus. It is. It's North and South beef. Yeah, 100%.
It is North and South beef, but she is.
I respect
Missa, I cannot thank you enough for that because I've been preaching the exact same for years now.
And they know it too. But here's the funny part. They know it. Anybody who's a Southsider that's like, oh, Midway, they can't stand it. They know it's horrible too. Yep. But if you challenge them on it, they're like, shut the fuck up. You know it's bad. You know it's
exactly.
bad.
No. My favorite is like even my best buddy who bought like beautiful home in Flossmoor and everything. He's like, just fly into O'Hare, we'll pick you up. Yep. Like, yep. See you.
Don't mind if I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, right. Like, yeah, absolutely. I'm not flying into. Not that. I mean, if you have to, you have to. Right. It's an airport. You got to go out of whatever airport you're at. But like, I'm so glad. I wanted to ask that question. The length of the show.
Knock on wood. So far in my wrestling career, I have avoided flying in or out of Midway. Now it's going to change, and I'm going to jinx myself. But
okay, not even to steal the questions. We're talking wrestling venues in Chicago.
Yes.
Just venue specific. Obviously, there's the real cool small ones that you and I could have like an hour-long conversation about. Mm-hmm. Like those rooms that you go into and you're like, that's special, that's amazing. But of kind of what I would call the big three. So Now Arena, I would throw in there loosely because of All Out. Strongly because Horseshoe Style Arena, that place is loud. I've been to a few All Outs. The Rosemont, I don't care what you call it, Sears, Allstate, whatever, whoever sponsors these days.
Yeah.
Rosemont, and then I'm gonna add in. Is it Verizon now? By the way, yeah. Can you hear me now?
It's good. Verizon Center. Wait, really?
No. So the Allstate Arena used to be called Rosemont Horizon.
That's it, right.
Oh, okay. My bad. Horizon. I'm tripping because
Rosemont Horizon is actually
in Washington D.C. The arena used to be called the Verizon Center. Now it's
no,
Capital One.
I made the Verizon.
So I was like, these motherfuckers went to Chicago and left D.C.
No, and then,
I'm so confused.
and then the last one, like the center of the South Loop, essentially, not the real center, but United Center. Of those three, United Center, now Arena, Rosemont. Which one do you think is the one that you will someday obviously main event, but the one you're looking forward to performing in, like the most? I mean, of the three,
it would have to be Allstate Arena, Rosemont Horizon, whatever you want to call it.
Horizon.
Yeah, again, the reason why is because I've had family work there, so I actually have jackets and like T-shirts of saying Rosemont Horizon still. So I'm like dedicated to one day just wrestle there, just so I could come out in that, just to like, you know, make some of the, people from the area know, be like, oh yeah, you know, kind of like rep it from back in the day. But no, I had family that worked there. So before everything got super strict because people suck and they have to ruin fun things for people, I used to be able to go back there and just kind of like meet people. Like, I don't know, like singers that were there. I didn't know who they were at the time. When the circus was in town, like the kids of the families of people that worked at the Allstate Arena, we would be able to like hang out with the animals and stuff before the circus. So I have like a very, it's very close and near dear to me. So that's why I want to. And plus WrestleMania 22 was there. There's like so many different, and that was my first pay-per-view that I bought with my own money. And again, that's where John Cena debuted. My man, my husband, he debuted. So there's a lot of connections there for me. So I need to wrestle there, and I will one day.
Okay. Not only will you, I think there's no doubt. I would say this. I mean, you've obviously being a native Chicagoan is like me. You've seen the plans for the new Soldier Field, and they're doing Mania there.
Yeah.
Main
100%.
event, Missa Kate.
Yeah.
Main event, Missa Kate. Hometown.
Yep.
What are we talking about?
Main event, Missa.
That's easy. My mama told me to speak things into existence. Why not today?
Yep.
And about time they fucking fixed that shitty ass field.
Yeah.
Dude,
well,
like, honestly.
Hey, don't you hate on Soldier Field? It's no fun, but the tailgates are great.
Motherfuckers tearing Achilles and shit on that field. What do you mean?
I went to Spring Awakening there one year, and I never went back. But it was fun. Don't get me wrong; it was a good time. But it was like during.
Never went back.
Because by the time that I went, it started becoming more of a. Because originally it was like, oh, this is supposed to be fun and all this, like everyone's supposed to come together. And I was like, oh, that seems cool. I like experience things. So that's why I went there to experience. But then by that time, it started becoming a trend. So, of course, you have people there just to be like, oh, I'm at Spring Awakening, that don't know anything about it. Now they're being disrespectful. Like some chick squatted down, almost pissed on my foot, like right in front of me. I was just like, bro.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was. So, like, I've had good. It was overall, like, there's a couple mishaps.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was just there last year myself, and like we were driving back downtown. We're going to All Out, whatever. Like 2 months from today, basically a year ago. Not today exactly, but like right a couple months from now.
This day, this time,
and we're driving by Soldier Field on Lakeshore Drive, and we're looking around. It's super trafficy, and I'm like, why does it look like there's like a wrestling show that's about to happen? And my buddy that's driving the car just looks around and he's like, oh, it's on the billboard. It's a Ramstein show. It was like a heavy metal show. But like there's road rage going on Lakeshore Drive.
Always.
We're like, what's going on here? Like,
no, that's crazy.
I'm not mad that they're moving. I mean, it sucks because they're technically moving out of the city.
Right.
So,
that's the worst part.
Yeah, it's an annoying part, but at the same time, are we really mad about it? Because it's a clusterfuck down there.
Traffic won't be as bad.
Right.
So the Washington Commandos, formerly known as the Redskins, they're
That's the football
from
team.
football team,
That is the
whatever.
football team.
I won't call them the real joke because I don't want Ben to fire me. The
You already
but
said the bad one.
they don't nah, it's an inappropriate joke. Anyways, they don't play in DC. They play in Maryland, and the arena is literally like in a fucking neighborhood. Like it's like a big ass football field, and it's like a residential neighborhood of like a bunch of townhomes and stuff. And anytime I go there, like since I was a kid, I was like, man, I really fucking feel bad for the people that are just trying to have a casual Sunday. Like you can't even like go get groceries on a Sunday because there's a big ass field and traffic. It's crazy. So there might be that case over there. But I have one question, right? So we are the Tuesday team and we review NXT. And you have a former tag team partner, right?
I do.
Miss Ren Sinclair, Maddie. I gotta tell you something. It might not even be a question. You're very good at picking a tag team partner because this past week she ain't snitch. She kept it a G code and she didn't snitch. She saw a murder happen and
No, she did not. She did not see anything.
Yeah,
she's loyal.
She kept it 100.
That's my girl.
That is the most loyal tag team partner you could ever pick in the world. But in all serious, talking about NXT, I feel like you and NXT would be really cool to see. Are you a fan of the product? Like, do you watch the product? Obviously, you and Maddie are tight, being former tag team partners. And if so, like, is there anybody you would like to mix it up with over there on NXT, like match wise?
Yeah, so somebody specifically that I like missed on the indies was Roxanne. She was somebody I was never able to cross paths with in the ring. Like, you know, I met her. She actually came to train Chicago a little bit. That was the first time I met her. Super sweet. She's somebody that I've always wanted to wrestle, and it's just, you know, just like actually have a match, not just train, because even when we trained, it was still like a good time. So she's somebody, but yeah, just their roster's stacked right now with women, men, everybody. And now the Rascals are back. Oh my God. I'm so proud. I'm so happy about them.
Yo, we were marking the fuck out when I was watching it together. Like them three having that hug, literally, like I almost shed a tear.
You're tearing up right now. I see it. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes.
He's got it.
Like he jumped into their arms. Like that is just
like that was like a real like you could tell them three.
No,
like,
I was
really
laughing.
Fucking happy to be.
Like,
and that's you don't see that a lot in wrestling. Like that's like a genuine human, like emotional moment happening.
And like the best friends are gone with Chuck Taylor being injured, but we don't get what we want. Like we got what we wanted with that hug. It was like the perfect, but it was organic. It wasn't a gimmick thing, right? It wasn't like we're hugging to make it fun. It was like we're hugging because it matters. Oh, I was the same. I was in my feelings all day.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps. Yeah.
Yeah, but, no, like legitimately.
They're boys. Like it's cool. I'm like it's cool when. Oh no, I dropped something. It's really cool when you do see people that do have that chemistry and that connection, right? And you could tell that they've been riding with each other for a while. So to see them get back there to that level, and just kind of like, I'm very excited to watch them do their thing because I've always wanted to. I told Trey, I was like, I want to have a match with you one day. So I love intergender matches. Now it's probably not going to happen because he'd be a little busy, but any of those guys, man, like they're just so entertaining. They're so fun. It's just NXT as a whole right now. It's very exciting. And I mean, I'd love to be a part of it. Obviously, again, I grew up watching WWE and now I'm like, it's cool when you see people that you either trained with or worked with there and knowing where you guys came from and knowing that you guys were learning together or watching growth, to now go there and now you're at a different level and you're helping each other excel. So it's while having fun. You know, I talk so much to people, but like I don't hear anything bad coming out of that locker room. It seems like they've turned over a new leaf, and everything there is pretty dope. Like it's a cool place to be. So yeah,
that's amazing to hear, because actually the three of us, when we're not interviewing incredible talents like yourself, we do a post show every Tuesday night, and we've been covering NXT for a long time, and that's kind of been the sentiment as far as us covering that show, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like we're sitting here and we're like, this is whatever they're doing, it's working.
Because you can feel it too. You can feel it's like a family. It's like it's not like it's not that awkwardness. It's not like what's going on. It's like, all right, something's happened. Like you feel the build. Like you feel everyone's trying to, you know.
100%.
But,
I always say the same thing where it's like
veterans that come down there now. Like they like to come down there and work with that young talent. And like some of them like want to just chill and stay there. Like I heard an interview with like the OC. They're like, yo, we're cool chilling down here. Like we like mixing it up with these young boys and kind of showing them the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
So
when I look at it, you know me, Sean at least does Missa, like but I'm a giant Shawn Michaels Mark nerd, right? Like my first ever wrestling show. He's the Heartbreak Kid, exactly.
Yeah.
I was 5 years old. My dad took me to WrestleMania 12. I'll never forget the spotlight up in the rafters before he hits the zip line. Oh, it's like my earliest memory.
That's amazing.
And to have, it was one of those, I'll never forget it.
That's one of those
it was like, I fell in love right away. And so that was not to even like jump the gun on this, but what was it that made you decide when you because you obviously have the history in athletics, you obviously have the history in all of that. But when you were like, you know what, this wrestling stuff's cool. Because I was 5 where I was like, I don't care what anyone says about whether it being cool or not. But when did you decide you're like, this is cool and this is what I'm going to do?
For me, it was, so I always say I have 2 first matches that I've seen. The first match I ever saw technically was John Cena's debut in Chicago. I was like, wow, that's a specimen right there. Even though I was too young to even know what the word specimen was.
Fair.
But I stopped watching because, again, my foreign grandfather, who was blind, goes, oh, what do you watch? I can't do his accent. He's like, what are you watching? You can't. No, you're going to die. Turn it off. You're going to die. And as a kid, you don't want to die. So I turned it off and I didn't watch it again. Later on, found out what he was referring to is because back in the day when he watched it, there was like the betting and everyone took it very serious. So that's what he was referring to. And when he was mentioning death, he was trying to say, oh, like get holes in my stomach. So, get an ulcer and die and all. Very dramatic. As you can tell, I get my drama from somewhere. It's the European side. So that was the first match. But the second first match that I saw after that was, it was Edge versus Matt Hardy, a ladder match. Winner stays on Raw. And Edge had a little side piece Lita next to him. Now, me watching this for the first time, not knowing the history, not knowing storyline or anything, literally just watching this match. One, I was like, oh, this is cool. I kind of jump off of stuff with my friends. But 2, seeing her, that she wasn't afraid to get in there with the guys and like get involved, I was like, it resonated with me because, again, I was a tomboy growing up. I had older guy cousins, 5 and 6 years older. So anything them and their friends were doing, I partook in pretty much. And even with my guy friends, I was the one wrestling them in the snow, or we would play baseball or whatever, and the ball would go up and get caught in the cage. I was the one climbing it to poke it through because everybody else was a little bitch. Needless to say, so when I saw her, I was just like, okay, like she's somebody that I can relate to. And at that time in my life, I was the only girl that I knew that was like me. So I was like, okay, she's could do all this cool stuff. I want to do cool stuff. I'm an athlete. So yeah, once I saw her, I was kind of hooked. I was like, oh, she could do it. I'm definitely going to do this.
Absolutely. That's outstanding too. And it's even funnier because of the timing, what you mentioned with the Punk and Cena stuff, right? Like I'm a little bit older, whatever. You can't pick when you're born, but I'm just like, right? Like I was more of an adult at the time and was like, dang it, there's no way he's really leaving. Like that was my instinct. But to have from your grandparents, where it's like it's the generational thing. It's like, no,
Yep.
like I'm not afraid of dying. I get it. And that whole full circle is just amazing to hear about and so cool. Like, and then it evolved from there. And then to make the impact you've made on the business that you have at this point, right? It is just incredible to me. I respect it immensely. I want you to know that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
100%. Before we go, we got, I think, maybe like one or two more questions, then we call it a day, friends.
Let's go.
Driz, you got one added. You got one ready.
Let Shad go first.
Oh, Shad. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is the issue with hosting and camera cutting at the same time. It's my fault.
You're doing great. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Nah, and like we mentioned, man, we really do appreciate you coming out here and talking to us.
Yeah, of course.
Being a fan of wrestling, you know, and like, who are some? You mentioned John Cena. Like, who are some other like wrestlers you kind of grew up like being a fan of when you were young, like, or even like kind of idolizing, like, as you get into it, like, is there any, you know, watch tape of like people you try to, you know, gain some inspiration or anything from?
Yeah, there's a lot, and for a lot of different reasons. Of course, we have Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest of all time. CM Punk, Homeboy. For females, of course, Trish Stratus. People that I'm going to mention that I feel are very that they're looked past: Michelle McCool, Maurice, Mickey James, Victoria. There's ODB. They're beautiful people. Like, there's a bunch of different because I watched a little bit of TNA, obviously, growing up also. And that was when like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, that's when like TNA was hot. So AJ Styles is another one. But yeah, I look up to a lot of different people for a lot of different things. Of course, Shawn Michaels is the whole package. So if I'm trying to figure out how to be as great as Shawn Michaels, you got to watch Shawn Michaels. If you're trying to learn how to captivate a crowd, there's going to be certain people that you're going to watch. Of course, Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena, those guys. If you're trying to learn how to kick ass and just wrestle the hell out of people, Kurt Angle. Eddie Guerrero is, different. He's in a category all of them in his own. But there's so many different people. But I always go back to John Cena and Lita just because of them as workers and performers. And John Cena, obviously, it's John Cena. He has done a tremendous job of just being himself overall, right? Like, he's always being there for fans, and he's always super respectful, and he loves this. He still loves this, and he's giving one more year to this, and he's still trying to give back. And from stories that I've heard through the grapevine, I know there's dirt sheets and whatever, but stories that I've heard through the grapevines of people that have worked with him, I've only heard positives. So that reassures me that I was like, okay, I'm looking up to somebody who's pretty dope. And then, of course, like I mentioned, just the fact that she was herself, that is meant a lot to me, because again, growing up when you don't really see anybody, or especially females that kind of act like that, you kind of, you're just like anybody, you just don't kind of feel like you belong. You're kind of like, oh, what's wrong with me a little bit? Like, where's everybody else at? But now everybody wants to be a tomboy. It's a trend. So just saying, but yeah.
No, you're spot on.
One counter question though, right? So you seen a fan. Any specific? This is last run. Any specific matches you want to see him have in this run? Any feuds with people on the main roster or even NXT? as we go to this, last dance that he's gonna have.
Yeah, John Cena versus Missa Kate.
Let's go. We talked intergender earlier.
I like it.
I was gonna say I was stoked you mentioned TNA. I can't lie. First time I saw TNA, my pops was babysitting me. My mom went out of town, and he's like, "Yo, like, there's this pay-per-view on. Let's watch it. The 3 Live Crew's in it. It's Road Dog, and it's it's K Quick at that time, right? Not our truth. It's K Quick and all of that." And we watched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome. This is way cool." Right. And then about 6 days later, the cable bill came, and my mom goes, "You let Clark watch tits and ass wrestling?"
Dude, it's so funny because I'll tell people too, like my friends and family that don't know anything about wrestling. And, again, they're aware of stuff that's going on. And I bring up TNA because they'll ask me like companies that I'm interested in. And they're like, "Without your wrestling, like, what, are you not wrestling anymore?" I'm like, "No, it's not that kind of TNA." I was like, I'm kind of offended.
Totally
that I would do something like that, first of all.
It's a company.
Yes.
That's
so
funny.
Yeah.
They rebranded again. It was Impact.
You mentioned it. We were literally talking. We were watching. Me and Clark were watching TNA Impact or whatever the show yesterday, and I was like, "Man, what happened to the beautiful people?" I remember they was lit, man. They had the dope theme songs.
Yeah, I think that was there. Those are Hall of Famers at this point in time.
Here's all I'm saying:
they are the. I want to say they may have been the first female stable that I had ever seen.
Yes, sure. I agree. Like they were the first. Yep, that where they were together for a long period of time and they got stuff done and they constantly had new additions or they're like moving around, but it always stayed Velvet and Angelina. So, which also very blessed to work with them at NWA. Great people also. That would be a fun match. That's something that never happened. Beautiful people against M95.
Whoa,
that would be nasty.
We're giving it to the atmosphere. We've spoken to the atmosphere. And let's see.
That's right.
I'm gonna have to call Mr. Hickenbottom up. Be like, you gotta really open that forbidden door all the way fucking open. You gotta get her back with Maddie, and then you just gotta get the beautiful people because there's the TNA connection. All of this shit is possible. I'm not just spitballing ideas. This could come to
wrestling is cool, guys. Wrestling is so cool right now, and I'm very excited and blessed.
It's literally the best,
and it's all because of me.
Literally.
Oh yeah.
See?
No, right? Someone write that down.
But no, it's
I swear to you, if we had a stats guy, he'd be taking notes on that right now. Write that down.
Yeah, man. Missa Kate over Mr. Kennedy, right? Missa Kate versus whoever has a
Mr. Kennedy? What do you mean? That's ridiculous. Missa Kate over everybody. What are we talking about here? What do you mean?
I'm gonna make that a t-shirt. Missa Kate over everybody.
Yeah,
man.
Missa Kate.
We acknowledge our tribal Missa.
That's right. Put the ones up. Put the ones up.
I'm from Chicago, and I'm about to be out there.
Put the 23s up.
Put the 23s up. I'm from Chicago, and I'm now under the impression that even to go back and visit my hometown, I have to call Missa Kate before I enter the area. That's the only.
That's okay. I know people that'll let me know when you're coming, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's like no, you already know. That's what I'm most afraid of. It's like.
You should be. No.
She got eyes everywhere. Watch.
Watching. Always watching. Like Monsters Inc. Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski is watching. That's my movie. Monsters Inc. is such an all-timer. Honestly, Monsters U, I thought underrated. I watched it on an airplane.
Great movie.
Underrated.
Great movie. One of my favorite characters in Monster U is the little purple guy.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Also, I call anybody that's recklessly skinny Randall. So that's just on the writers. It's not right, but if you're recklessly skinny, and to the extent that it bugs me, it's Randall. Right?
So if you hear me in a promo one day, I might snatch that. You calling people Randalls now?
Take it.
Yo, by the way, if
really
you
good call, Randall.
Hold up, I'm gonna put this out there too. If you ever need someone to rap you out to your entrance, I'm here. That is you need
an in-arena.
Dream of mine. I asked. You know who? For real, we are locked the fuck in, man. Listen,
if we end up with Max Caster, Shot will tear him apart.
I would smoke him so badly in a rap battle. I say that with the most confidence in my fucking heart. It would not. It would.
Yeah, do it. Freestyle right now. Freestyle right now.
I can freestyle. Give me a word.
Missa.
Missa?
Yeah.
That's a very difficult word to rap, but
it is easy.
Okay.
Missa. Yep.
Missa Kate. Missa Kate. Okay, hold on. Okay. I said Missa Kate repping the Chi-Town. You don't know she from the streets? Well, I can go on an old block like Chief Keef. It's Mr. Akbar's Tuesday Night Delight. I'm freestyling on the live and I ain't got no fright, but I'm doing this shit off top of the dome. I'm really rapping here. I'm in my fucking zone. I'm the wrestling bar king. If you don't know that, not enough people watch this shit and they should know about that. I said, I don't do this shit for lust. Put a bullet filling their chest just like gold dust.
Yes.
Hey, there you go.
Let's go.
I'll take it. I'll take
what
it.
I said. Nah, what I did tell the dude, I said, you put your hands on a female in the battle. That's a fucking tragedy. I said, this white boy better not get out of pocket. That's Orange Cassidy. I said, I had a bunch of wrestling.
Yes, I forgot. I forgot what the orange bar. The orange bar is.
I did have an Orange Cassidy bar. The shit I'm in. So the thing is, I have a battle next week, and I'm really in my zone trying to memorize the bars.
He's too focused on that.
I will rap you it when we get off of line.
I feel guilty. I genuinely feel guilty. If we have to edit that out, we can, Shot. But I still think you're going to win the battle.
No, you did.
We marked that guy. I mean, by the way,
I don't. The thing is, this battle rap, you don't freestyle. I don't freestyle at all. I literally, it's like so. If I had to compare it, it's kind of like professional wrestling or like UFC. You get an opponent and you prep and write for them. There's different styles and stuff, and you write for them and you rap your rounds, memorize, and like there's different styles, like the strategy to it. It's like a combat sport.
It's almost like promo on promo.
I do a lot of promo stuff. Like I have for the battle I got a video that's in a cut. He likes to eat at Checkers. I literally am acting like I'm doing a food review, and I went to Checkers, and I took a bite of it, and I just threw the shit in the ground. I picked it up and threw it in the trash after. Don't worry.
You're like, just so we're clear.
I don't actually litter.
I don't litter.
Yeah.
I like it, though. So, you did good. I put you on the spot. You got nervous for a second, but you brought it back.
You got really put on the spot there, but I love it.
Yeah, I did not expect it.
Okay, by the way, speaking of on the spot, maybe the most important question of all time. Maybe ever, honestly. Al's beef or Portillo's?
Ooh.
I knew.
So I have to go. You said Al's beef, not Mr. Beef's, right?
Mr. Beef is a different conversation. Al's beef, the classic Al's.
You're like, that's a day he doesn't count. I have to go.
We can ask that question next.
I have to go with Portillo's. I'm not a big Italian beef person anymore. I used to be when I was younger.
Fair.
But yeah, no, Portillo's, man, they got everything.
Because I look at it like this. So this is my personal opinion. Portillo's, crinkle fries, stop it. Right? Perfect. The best. Who would that hurt? Absolutely no one. Dogs, all of the other stuff. But if we're going beef, I think Al's is more consistent. And I hate that because it's a Southside place. But like, I do think they're more consistent when we're just talking strictly beef. Now, if we're talking Mr. Beef, that's a secondary conversation. So, by the way, follow-up question. Let's add Mr. Beef to the equation. Where do you go?
Mr. Beef's.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, go Mr. Beef.
It's
Beef
the
it,
real
beef it.
number one. It's the only one that hasn't left Chicago, and there's a reason.
Yep.
There's a reason, right?
I'm hungry now. Thank you. Now I'm like, you're going to get rid of this diet that I've been on.
By the way, I'm out here in Southern California just stuck. The closest thing I can do is a made-up Philly cheesesteak with Chicago Johnny's Jardiniere. It's the best thing I can do.
You got in and out.
It's the closest. It's like that's even sniffing an Italian beef. What are you talking about? Okay. In-N-Out's great. Don't get me wrong. I do like living in Southern California. The beach is nice, but there's nothing like that lake. I'm just saying. Best city in the world. Okay. Sincerely, though, before we finally take this home, I promise we've taken up all of your time. It's really Friday night. Y'all are going to watch this on Sunday and be like, oh, they recorded this on Sunday. No, this is all of our Friday nights. All four of us, totally adults. We got stuff to do, people to see, things to talk about.
Yeah.
Most importantly, I got to ask you, okay, we've already asked next step, all of that. What is your favorite memory in your entire career?
Wow. I have different favorites for different reasons, but the one that comes to mind is because I just talked about this briefly, kind of, was when I did extra work for AEW, and it was the first time I wrestled in an actual arena. Just that moment of walking to the ring, like, yeah, I didn't have an entrance. I came through the side. Didn't matter. Just walking out there and just seeing how many people were out there. And then you get in the ring and you're literally in the ring in the middle of an entire arena, and you're just looking around and you're people like that know you. So they're cheering. It was just, and just all the lights and just everything. It was, I don't know. It was just like a cool feeling, because it's something that you picture when you're a kid and you always play in your head over and over and over, like what you think it's going to feel like, what you think you're going to see. So it's cool when I actually got to do that, and it lived up to its expectations. So I think that is something that is probably my favorite, because I just because of the feeling of it. And I just actually took a moment, I took a breath, and I rarely do that. I rarely slow down. My brain's always going. So the fact that my brain was just like, hey, appreciate this. I think that has to be my favorite.
That is so amazing to hear.
To take the moment in.
To be able to appreciate
breathe it all
too.
in.
And in the moment in itself too. I cannot thank you enough, sincerely, for joining us. Like, and I promise we will not take up any more of your time. We really are done here. Thank you more than anything. Friday night, no less, for anything. If you want to, before I do the outro, anything you want to plug, anything you want to talk about, let us know.
Anything I want to talk about? Well, I will be having some new merch coming out soon. I now handle all of my own merch. So there's that. Where to find me, because everybody knows you're following me already, but I just need to remind you. The merch?
Yes.
So if you go to my Instagram or my Twitter, I have like a little link that will take you. Yes. So my Instagram and my Twitter is MissaKate23. So go check that out. Follow me, even though you're probably already doing it. If you're not, then you're stupid and you need to follow me. So go do that. I'm pretty entertaining on TikTok, so I'd say go follow me on there too. I think that's just Missa Kate. I don't think there's 23 after that. Either way, you're gonna find me. Go look. I'm not hard to find. So I would say go click links and find things, and I'll post matches. I have a YouTube that I should be posting stuff on that I am not, but I am learning. Too much social media, man. I'm a jock. I like to be in the ring. I like, that's my happy place. My next Jordan's next job is going to be my social media manager.
And salute to Jordan too, man. He respect to him.
Absolutely.
No, he's a good dude.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm not going to put myself in the middle. I'm just going to sign off from here. With that, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, everybody that has watched. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, smash the thumbs up button. If you haven't already followed Missa Kate, like she said, you're stupid. You're messing up. You don't even know about Chicago. It's ridiculous. Where have you been? How long have you been sleeping for? I'm just saying, it's real easy. Check us out every day. Daily broadcast is, of course, on Wrestling Republic's YouTube channel at noon Pacific. That's 3 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 2 Central, most importantly. That's 8 over in the UK. That's 9 a.m. in Hawaii. That's 4 in Manila. Make sure you check it out. Monster shout out to the Philippines. Sunday Night Spotlight every Sunday. That's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm not going to be able to memorize these times. I barely pass math, but thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a great Sunday evening when this is released, because we're all going to have a great Friday. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks so much.